So again, thank you all for joining and attending the mentoring panel. We're so excited to have you here today. My name is Chelsea Joffrey, NPower's National Engagement Manager. I run the mentoring program and will be the host for this event. Before we get started, I just wanted to share a brief NPower introduction, followed by how the NPowerMATCH program works for folks who are joining who are not very familiar with what we do here at NPower. So a recent Microsoft data science report estimates that digital job capacity, or the total number of new technology-oriented jobs in the US, will grow to 13 million by 2025. It's clear that this field needs skilled workers to match the high demand. And this is where NPower plays a pivotal role. NPower is a national nonprofit organization that provides free tech training for careers in IT to military veterans and young adults from underserved communities. Our mission is to move people from poverty to the middle class by creating access and pathways to careers in technology fields. We were founded in 2000 in partnership with Microsoft, JP Morgan Chase, and Accenture. In 2002, we began our first training programs in New York, which have evolved into national program offerings. So NPower operates in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Michigan, Texas, California, Missouri, and Toronto. And now we've even partnered with the Department of Defense with their program called SkillBridge, which is a program that trains current military members in the cybersecurity field as they transition to the civilian workforce. So one component of our program is to help students make a mark in the field of technology through NPowerMATCH. So NPowerMATCH is NPower's national e-mentoring program. The pilot was launched in December of 2020 in the midst of COVID and was created to act as an additional source of support for our tech fundamentals trainees as they embark on their first IT placement. And since then, we've now expanded that offering to our alumni as well. So now our alumni can connect with a mentor on how to grow their career and become the tech leaders that we all need. These matches communicate asynchronously each week on our NPowerMATCH platform via text or email. In addition to weekly asynchronous communication, the NPowerMATCH program includes a face-to-face video call that totals about 1 hour per month. So folks are matched using our platform algorithm, which assesses for likeness, this type of soft skills that our mentees want to work on, and shared personal interests. NPowerMATCH cycle lasts about 5 months and is a great way to learn, to pay it forward, and to make a difference through a very flexible program. Our mentees opt in to participate and look forward to learning and expanding their networks. We're so excited to have you here today to learn more about this wonderful opportunity for our trainees and to learn more about the experiences that our mentors and mentees have had in the program. So I know you all probably don't want to hear me speaking anymore, so let's get to the reason we're all here, to hear from our mentors and mentees. First, I would like to introduce our MC for this event, Serge. Serge, take it away.
Chelsea, thank you so much for that introduction. So welcome all, welcome. It's a pleasure to have everybody here. As Chelsea mentioned, NPowerMATCH and the mentorship that we do through NPower really makes an impact. It really makes a difference. And I'm not saying this because it's a nice little headline. I'm saying this from personal experience. I'm a Marine Corps veteran that served overseas, and after getting out of the military, got into a career in security. I hit a ceiling in my security career, didn't know where I was going, felt kind of lost, and took a chance on NPower and the Tech Fundamentals program. And when I went through the Tech Fundamentals program, I had the incredible opportunity to be paired with a mentor, such as the mentors that we have on our panel today, and gained a wealth of experience from that relationship. That experience then allowed me to progress my career and eventually end up working for the organization that impacted me so greatly. And now I'm here today with the incredible honor and privilege to present the stories of other mentors and mentees and what their experience has been like through our NPowerMATCH program. To start off, I'm going to throw a general question around the room and also just ask you to give a brief introduction about yourself. And let's start off with Natasha, if you can introduce yourself and then maybe just mention what your NPowerMATCH experience has been like.
Okay, my name is Natasha Morris Battle. I am a fraud security investigator at Citigroup. We are one of the sponsors for the program. Started with this program at the beginning as a mentor. I've been paired and matched a couple of times now. And for me, the most rewarding thing about the NPower relationship that I've gained is connecting with people who have a general interest in the field of computers, technology, and in cybersecurity. I know through our program, some of the graduates from NPower have transitioned over the city in various departments, and they have gained a wealth of, it's a wealth of knowledge that NPower has really given them. My role as a lead and a guide is to help them gain the soft skills, sometimes help them through the study, through the CompTIA, through just day-to-day life, because at the time COVID was going on, there were so many things going on. And I think that for me, the most important thing is that in this life, you want to create genuine relationships, right? Everyone has an issue with that. Everyone is saying, you know, things feel so one-sided, like I'm doing so much, but I'm not getting something back in return. With the relationships that I've built at NPower, it's been a two-way street. I've gotten so much from my mentees, and I hope to say they've gotten pretty much from me in just navigating life and, like you said, making the transition from one career path to another. So that's been my experience so far.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Art, if you may.
Hi, my name's Herb Hoffman. I have a couple of hats that I wear. One of them is I head IT for a conglomerate, Lowe's Corporation in New York City. We have a portfolio of companies in insurance, hospitality, manufacturing, and energy. I've been here my whole career, mostly because of such good exposure to so many different types of businesses. So in 2017 to 2018, we went through a significant transformation in IT. It was more than career altering for me. I would say that it was impacted my life. We moved applications, processes, people, everything got sort of revamped, and we came out a lean, mean, successful fighting machine of an organization. And that led me to want to share some of those experiences. And I had been involved with mentoring in some schools, and I've been involved with some mentoring in my own organization, sort of chain of command type mentoring. And there's a big difference to that and the type of mentoring you get to experience with NPower. And in end of 2019, I was part of the Sim New York Metro chapter, and they were regrowing their outreach program. And within a few months, I became a co-director of that outreach program, and in such got very involved with NPower and in providing the coaching experiences that Chelsea and Kelly are so familiar with. And through that, when they were ready to launch NPowerMATCH, I threw my hat in the ring to be part of that. I'll share with you that that was in 2020, and I am still in very close contact with my very first mentee, who lived out here. I'm in New York, and he ended up moving out to Silicon Valley. He's a Google developer, and we chat once a month. So incredible success stories. I've been able to, I have a very lean team at this point. You know, post-transformation, you're small and tight, and I've had the honor to bring two NPower alum on full time, and they are rock stars on our team in applications development and infrastructure. So really good stories there. So I can truly say that my NPower mentoring experience has given me as much or more than the students and alum take away from it. But very happy to be here and honored to be part of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank to both of you for the incredible contribution that you've made through NPowerMATCH. Really appreciate you taking the time here to talk about your experiences. Raven?
Hi, everyone. I'm Raven Christ, and I am currently the lead technical instructor for the Detroit, Michigan region here at NPower. And my story is I'm actually an alumni from NPower, and I came on spring of 2021. So I've been with NPower for about 2 years now, and it's just incredible how much my life has changed from when I started up until now. And a big reason as to why I think it changed so drastically is because I had those people in place to help support me. I went through the NPowerMATCH program myself, and I got paired with the most amazing mentor. When they say they have some algorithms that match you up with somebody, I'm telling you, it literally matches you up better than, how dating sites would. Like, I remember my first phone call with my mentor, and I just felt so seen by her. She understood everything that I was feeling. She had been through similar situations as I have. So before we would meet up, she would already know, by the tone of my voice, hey, yo, what's going on? It's just amazing, how they configure that. But, what I realized with the mentorship, this is just the start. Right. And then as you progress in your career, you want to keep finding mentors. And it's not just for the technical side of stuff, like Natasha was saying. I realize now that it's so much more, they are there to help you through your home stuff. For me, I guess that's maybe where my mentor really helped me, was a lot of my personal stuff that then led me to being successful in my career. But that's it for me.
Raven, thank you so much. Yeah, I echo your sentiment of the kind of impact that mentorship has on a young adult striving to succeed, or even a veteran striving to transition into the civilian workplace. And I think what's interesting about mentorship in general is it goes beyond just an instruction kind of based relationship. And mentors, they help a person not only deal with the technicalities of trying to progress their career, but also they help establish ways of coping and dealing with some of the challenges and things that might come their way as they strive to progress and increase. And that kind of personal connection is something to be really valued, and I think highlights the importance of what mentorship does. Now I'm going to ask a few specific questions to each of you, and then I'll open the floor for a few more general questions for what we have time for. But I want to start off understanding that mentorship is a very unique relationship that builds a kind of bond, and also addresses, creates the opportunity to address problems or issues or skill gaps that don't have a formula, let's say. My first question is going to be to Natasha. As someone with 20 years of professional experience in HR education, health administration, and cyber financial crimes, incredible resume, did you have a plan of what skills and experience you wanted to share with your mentee, or did you kind of let your mentee lead the experience?
Well, one thing I can say, I've been a mentor and I've been a mentee, right? And especially when I did become a teacher, I did become a teacher through Teach for America. So because of that, I have a good range of different type of mentor relationships. And I think one of the critical things for me was with NPower, this is it's a structured environment, but it's so considerate of the non-structured aspects. Like, they take diversity into consideration. They take, where are you in your personal life? What are you doing? Like she said, to echo earlier, the algorithm is so great because all of those things come into it. So when you're matched with someone, in most cases, I've had some things that I was, we could share right off the bat. So, okay, I'm a gamer. I played violin, and I was able to connect with my mentees just off of a human aspect of it. It wasn't just, okay, I have a list of things to do, and what do I need to get through them? You develop a strong sense of being seen, of who you're dealing with and their personality. Because once you enter the workforce, you're going to deal with a lot of personalities, right? You're going to deal with a lot of people from different cultures, different backgrounds, military, non-military, the transition from, military life to civilian life, or just the transition from coming out of college or non-college environment into a structured educational adult education environment. So I think for me, did I have a plan? I think for me, I had plans, but plans change, and you have to be able to roll with those punches. And that's where a mentor comes into play, because you know what you want to do in your mind, but life itself will say, okay, yes and no and yes. And you need somebody to kind of like hold your hand, or at least be a listening ear to say, okay, this is where I am now. These are the opportunities or the steps that I can take to get to here or there, wherever here or there may be. And just to have that checkpoint and get that constant feedback on, am I going in the right direction? Do I need to take a step back? Do I need to just breathe for a moment and let this pass and keep going? You need someone for that. So I think for me, did I have a plan? I had them. Did they work? Not all the time. But having that mentor relationship with someone who could relate to what I was doing, who understood, the investment of time and resources and energy that it takes to achieve these type of certifications and beyond, it made a whole world of difference for me. So I think that's my answer.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I like asking that question because, kind of as I was saying before, when you're in a class, there's a plan, right? There's an agenda, there's a syllabus, and yeah, you make some modifications, but generally you follow the plan. I think the beauty of mentorship is it's an organic evolution, right? That two people, as they exchange experiences and listen to each other, grow together. Of course, mentor providing much more growth to the mentee's experience, but still there's a give and take that's so rare and so precious, and why mentorship is such a incredible part of a professional journey. So Herb, I have a question for you now. As a VP of Information Technology at Lowe's, when I was doing the mentorship, when I was going to NPowerMATCH, I wasn't sure what to expect, and I was paired with a project manager at S&P Global, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, I am with top tier executives and leaders, and I'm having the rare opportunity to pick their brain and get some of their experience. So I have to ask you, when you were paired with your mentor and met, how did you break the ice? Was there any awkwardness? Was there any kind of like, oh wow, I'm with a VP of IT at Lowe's? And as you progressed, how did you focus on building that rapport, building that relationship?
Yeah, that's the first task for me, is to get the formal out of the way. I am not a formal person professionally, and I'm not a formal person in my relationships. So yeah, we'll start with sometimes that icebreaker, right? I'll take the hit and say, okay, let me go first. And I start out with some career highlights that may give them mentees some things to ask questions about, but very quickly it's, what do you do on the weekend? What do you do for fun? What's your family life like? What's going on? Because I'll go back to what Raven mentioned earlier. I think the effectiveness of having a mentor that I wish I had, I didn't have a formal relationship or a structured relationship like that up and coming when I was trying to start my career, is that you get to somebody who really knows you. Because you can look at all the goals and plans and objectives that might be on a piece of paper, but if you don't know what's going on in the world and you guys can't connect outside of the day-to-day career student world, you can't be as effective as if you can really get in there and listen and hear. So to me, it's get the formal stuff out of the way, and frequently text, shoot a picture from the weekend of something fun you're doing, and really try to build that relationship up. And as a mentor, when you start receiving that same type of communication, it's a really great milestone in creating a successful relationship, because then you're going to feel better when you have to ask the hard questions. Well, why do you think you didn't get that? Or, well, what's going on in the other world that you're dealing with that kept you from showing up? And you can ask those questions and hopefully be able to provide some suggestions or guidance. I always stress I want to be a resource, not a pain in the butt, right? My job is to, if I'm being a responsible mentor, I'm a resource. I'm providing suggestions and guiding you with my suggestions along your path, and that's your path. And I can't really influence that path. It's on the mentee for that. Hopefully that addressed the question.
Absolutely, it did. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, I love that you talked about, you know, getting through the formal stuff to the core of what we're talking about, which is a relationship. And once you have that relationship established, you can have that much more impact, because as you said, you now can connect on a more personal level, can address some of the things that maybe a mentee would not feel comfortable with addressing with their instructor or something else, something that
Exactly.
is going on in their life. And I just really want some heartfelt advice, somebody that understands me and knows me. And I love that you brought in the idea of, sharing like what's outside of profession, like what do you like, who are you, and connecting on that. Natasha, I know you mentioned the same with playing violin and these things. So that's beautiful. That's incredible. And I really appreciate both of you for working hard to establish those relationships to have that meaningful impact. I'm going to ask a question of Raven now. As someone who is an instructor for tech fundamentals, I'm sure you're no stranger to some of the challenges that come up between student and instructor relationships. As a mentee, did you encounter any challenges with your mentor, any challenges that had to be worked through? And if you did, how did you work through those challenges? Was it something that was beneficial? That it's something that also expanded your outlook of how a mentee-mentor relationship works?
It's hard to say because I didn't necessarily have any issues directly with my mentor. I'd say, and it was my own personal thing that was going on, but the biggest thing that both my mentors actually did, was they turned it into a learning experience instead of being, mean about it. Not that they're going to be mean, but I would, and it we would have a set time, hey, we're going to have a call on this day from this time to this time. And maybe I didn't call. Okay. Because I had so much else going on. For me, that was a learning experience. She wasn't mad at me, but she reinforced, hey, look, whenever you do get into the professional world, it's really important that you communicate these things or look at your schedule. And if your schedule is too packed, maybe just schedule it for a different day. So it was just a lot of little lessons like that really helped to shape me into a young professional now. And then what was the second part of your question? I'm trying to think. I had something.
Just how that overall, I think thank you so much for that answer.
Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful part of, mentors also playing the role of challenging you to do better, to be better, and kind of a little bit calling you out when maybe you drop the ball a little bit. And I think that's an incredibly important for somebody entering the profession. The second part of that question is how do you feel that kind of challenge within that beneficial challenge within the mentor-mentee relationship? How do you feel that influenced you as a professional?
Yes. So that is a great question, So first we build that trust, right? Once we build that trust, they get to know who I am, what my goals are. And, I trust their opinion. So when I call up my mentor and I tell her, hey, look, I'm quitting NPower. I'm done. I failed this exam. I'm running away to Florida. She's able to be like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on? what happened, and let's look at what your goals are. Is what you're thinking about right now, is this extra plan that you just all of a sudden created because of this one failure, this one setback? Is this worth throwing away your other goals of being able to work remotely, being able to get a bus and fight cybercrime, traveling the US? Like, does what you are planning on doing reflect, and is that going to lead you to your end goals? And it's because of that decision, because of that conversation with her 2 a.m. in the morning, driving back from Florida, okay, that I was like, okay, she's right. I can't quit. I have to get my A+, I have to try. I have to try. And if I would have quit, I wouldn't be here. I would probably still be working in a warehouse, in Illinois, not here in Florida. My life would be radically different, and so I think about that almost every single day, that one conversation. And that's where, I realize what the power of mentorship is. And because I've taken on a mentee of my own, we are here for that validation that what we are doing is the right thing. We're taking the steps in the right direction, mentees, they might say, I think I'm going to quit. They may just want to tell that to you to see how it kind of tastes in their mouth. They want you to hold them accountable. They want that guidance. They want that help in order to, again, navigate those feelings. So.
Wow, that was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And I love this experience. I think everything that we're talking about really just highlights the power of a mentorship. I mean, to have somebody, there's so many moments where I felt that I'm going to be stuck in security the rest of my life. I was infantry in the Marine Corps, and the transition to the civilian workplace from being somebody who's in an infantry role isn't always the most clear. There's not a whole lot of carryover to some of the skills, but there is a lot of carryover to the responsibilities that I held. And Raven, to echo your experience, there was times where I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with NPower. I'm not really sure where I'm taking this. Should I even continue? And one of the things that my mentor, Renee, shared with me when we got into those conversations and we got into talking about what I'm capable of is just that validation. Is like, yeah, you could definitely do this. You did this, you did that. Why do you think you can't do this job? Why do you think you can't go for this role? And that challenge with that validation really inspired me to be like, oh, let me go all in. Let me give this my full focus. Let me not get in my own way. And I think, a lot of times mentors help solve that problem of when people kind of get in their own way to their own success. So I want to throw a question to the mentors now, and let's switch it up a little. Herb, I'll be starting with you. What would your advice be to new mentors, and what would you say? Why would you say they should mentor?
I think anyone who has the privilege to mentor, first of all, you're able to give back. You're able to help people out, and I don't know how you measure success in life if you can't look back on it and say that you helped somebody out without having any sort of skin in the game. NPowerMATCH, for anyone who is considering mentoring, the nice thing about NPowerMATCH is NPower makes it frictionless. There's nothing easier for a mentor than to go apply, fill out the questionnaire, and end up in the NPowerMATCH database and wait for a hit. I mean, you don't have to do anything. It's super easy. And then you get paired. It's on the platform, and you can either work through the platform or a combination of working through the platform and phone calls. So if people are considering it, I think it's part of career journey, leadership development, seeing different perspectives and different points of view. So I've been mentoring for many years, a lot of it in my own organization. There's a difference between mentoring somebody in my own department versus somebody from another department. But both of those, I still have some sort of bias because I'm in an organization that I'm supporting. And if I am mentoring at a university or a school, you still have part of a program and a responsibility that may be built by bias. What I'm finding in the NPower coaching experiences and mentoring experiences, you're really just there to be that resource. There's nothing more than being there for than helping others. And so if you're on the fence about how to get started with mentoring, there's no better way, I think, for a tech leader or a person in tech to get involved and go through NPowerMATCH. Advice, if you haven't mentored a lot, is you mentioned before, do you have a plan? Well, sure, have some notes or guidelines, but understand that plan goes out the window after you say hello, and that's fine. Let it do its thing. Listen, just. So I see you want to get into mentoring. Well, maybe it's because you're thinking, well, okay, I'm going to help all these people, and you're going to help them right out of the gate. And while they're talking, you're formulating your response to solve their problems. That might not be the key value of that relationship. So I would you take the deep breath. The mentee, if you can get the mentee to drive the relationship, that's a win. That's like the biggest win. And so with that means you need to listen. But everything I just said comes back to making me better at my job, at my family life, at my connections with friends. So yeah, it's mentoring should be part of anybody's career journey. And again, no better way to get started than through this program.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for that, everybody. I feel like I'm part of a TED Talk right now. I'm getting so much useful information. And, I really appreciate that. Natasha, just to rephrase the question again, why would you recommend, or why would you recommend somebody to become a mentor, and what advice would you give them to succeed at that role?
Well, I'm a firm believer in order, when we ask the question, what is success, right? The first thing comes to mind, some people are going to say money, some people are going to say a car, a house, or, whatever their ideals are, that's the first thing that comes to mind. For me, success is how much success you've created in others. If you create success in others, then you definitely know that you and yourself are successful, right? It's a law of attraction thing. You have to give what you want to receive. In my experience, and I'm glad that Raven talked about that earlier, look, life is a mess, right? I've had my mentees say, you know what, this is hard. These tests, these quizzes, it's what do they want from me? And you as the mentor, it's hard to put yourself back. I'm not going to put my age out there, but I have grown children who are young adults. My daughter, she graduated from Stanford. My son graduated from Hofstra. And as a mother to young adults, I understand that pressure, right? Because here's my mom, she has all these degrees, and I gotta you have this inner mind of what success is. You want to achieve the things that your parents did, or your grandmother, or someone that you love and you have this bond with, and you want to impress them. Let's be honest, you want to impress people, right? If you're in the job market, you want your resume to stand out. You want to say, okay, yeah, he has a degree from Villanova, but I did this. And you want to be proud of that. So I think the mentoring opportunity, because that's really what it is. It's an opportunity, right? You don't have to do this, but if you choose to do it, this is your opportunity. This is your chance to test your abilities in how to create success in others. As a teacher, it was my job to get an idea and a concept into somebody else's brain and make it make sense. With mentoring, it's my job for you to understand that the things that you want out of life, you can have them, and it's real and it's believable. And no matter what's going on, we can do this because you're not by yourself. I've had great mentors. I do not believe in the term self-made, because nobody's an island, and somebody helped you with something. Somebody said something. I don't care if it was your great aunt, Jackie. Somebody told you something that picked you up one day when you were in a down spot and said, you know what, I can continue. With NPower, I do love the matching process, because like I said, it's not just all based on, okay, you got a 3.0 GPA or whatever. I've had mentees that struggled. I've had mentees that had to retake an exam. I've had mentees that did not have a job yet, and we literally sat down, went over their resumes. My last mentee, she got hired. We set a goal for her to get hired by January. She got hired December 17th. And it was because we gave each other space and time. And I gave her the things, the tools that she needed. I say, listen, hey, apply 5 times a day. Somebody gonna call you. And when you do this, remember, you're applying for the job that you know you can get, the job that you want to get, and the job that, listen, it pays the bills. All right. You got to start somewhere. And to see someone take your feedback and then go out into the real world, apply it and get that win, that's what does it for me. That's why I mentor. I love to see that aha moment. I love to see somebody win. That's my thing. I love a win. I don't like imbalance, right? And like I said earlier, there's a lot of relationships, husband, wives, parent, child, where we just don't feel like we're getting back what we're giving. With mentoring, you will get back what you give, so long as you're committed and invested in that win, in that victory moment, small or large. Each one will feel, I promise, it will feel just as great as the first one, you know. And for me, I think that's the biggest thing. Why mentor? Because why not? Like, it is something that it's a rewarding feeling, you know. It's something, it's not something to do, because honestly, the commitment that I will say, NPower only asked me to give 1 hour. The truth is, you're gonna give way more than 1 hour. You're going to give way more than 1 hour. You are going to text. You're going to call. Yes, we've made appointments and I couldn't make it. They couldn't make it. But guess what? You send that text message saying, hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, my computer's not working, whatever it is. And you just pick up, and then you make it a habit of keep going, right? You make it a habit of not allowing just one thing to stop you from getting what it is that you want. And as small as just making the commitment to talk to one another, it creates such a value. Because even for me, I would have crazy days and my mentee would be like, Natasha, we have a phone call. So you're going to put work down for a little bit, and we're going to have this conversation, and we're going to talk about you and your kids and your surgery that you just had, and how are you feeling? Guess what? There are times where my husband didn't ask me how my day was, but my mentee did. So for me, it is such a rewarding aspect in life to meet someone whom you don't know, who's going to come from a totally different background for you, and you make this real life connection. And sometimes the relationships continue, and sometimes they will come to an end. And that teaches you something as well. It's taught me that, yes, people come into your life for a season. And as much as you might love them and like them, you want to keep them, you want to hold on to them, you have to let it go. And you just have to be happy with that. So mentoring teaches a lot. I think it teaches way more life skills than it probably does, you know, work or transferable skills to the career. It will teach you the life skills that you need to survive this crazy place we call Earth. So that's what mentoring means for me. It's really getting the life skills that you need to be a better person and to actually make the world around you better too.
Wow. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to mentor. I don't know about everybody else. That was incredible. Thank you so much. You know, I wanna say I'm so grateful that we had this opportunity, because when we look at people who succeed, Natasha, just as you mentioned, you know, no person's an island, right? We tend to overlook and forget about the people that help them along the path, right? And I think one of the greatest things about this panel, and again, thanks to everyone for making the time to attend, is that we get to highlight you, the mentors who are such incredible people for being so selfless with their time and have this true passion is helping others succeed. So I want to thank you both again, and we'll thank you throughout this panel for all that you do. You know, it's incredible, and I hope that you are seeing the impact of your efforts and of support for the NPowerMATCH. And when we're talking about impact, I gotta ask, you know, Raven, when you're thinking, I mean, you're working for NPower now. You kind of see sometimes the hesitation that some students have with taking advantage of a lot of the programs that NPower offers. And I know that there are some students that hear about this mentorship thing and they actually get a little bit intimidated. They're not sure. They don't know, like, am I, sometimes it's even like, am I worthy of a mentor? You know, that sometimes comes up. And Raven, what would you say to those who are applying to the program, part of the program, interested in the program, about why they should be a mentee and what they can get out of it?
Ooh, see, that's a really good question. So to take what Natasha said, why not? Right? Life is about having a mindset, having that open mindset, and what NPower is, we are here to give you all of the necessary tools that we can provide to help you succeed. I tell everybody this, I literally have the best job in the world as a training instructor, because it's literally, I get paid to help people succeed. Okay, like this is the best job in the world. And, a big part of, my success in terms of getting here was, me going through my own cohort. I met with my SSM once a week, and then they're like, okay, hey, so we have this mentor, and I'm just like, oh Lord, I need this, because I didn't have a tech background. I'm like, and I didn't want to go into corporate America. So I was honestly, I'm very honest. So I was having this inner battle within me on, okay, I'm going through this tech training program. Okay, I got XYZ going on outside of the program. The program was my escape. But what's at the end of the tunnel for me? Like, they're preparing me to go into a possible corporate position, but I have these issues with it. And I'm like, okay, maybe if I get a mentor, maybe, she can kind of help me navigate that sort of thing. And or I didn't know what to expect with it. I just knew, okay, NPower has helped me out this far. What else do you have to give me? Like, just taking full advantage of everything that they had to give me, because thus far, everything was good. Everything was solid. And I did it. And again, I'm still in contact with her, a year and a half later. I spoke with her yesterday, and she was still giving me advice. She was helping me help my own mentee, so it's just this beautiful cycle of how Herb and Natasha said, like, how do you measure that success, right? It's by being able to give back. And a big thing for me is, I want to learn as much as I can from my mentor, so that I could then, if I have siblings, be able to help them, help them come up, be able to help those who are going to come behind me, be able to help them succeed as well, And I think another big thing that trainees face is that imposter syndrome. I know it's something that I still have issues with, even though I'm like, wait a minute, y'all, I think I'm a professional now. What? And it's something, I think having a mentor there to help you acknowledge it, feel those feelings, and then they'll help you kind of push past that to help you see your true potential, So again, why not? You've gone this far, you're in the program, you're deep in it, you're doing everything you can. The other aspect is, like, again, mentorship isn't just NPower. Mentorship isn't just in the tech industry. Mentorship is everywhere. People pay thousands. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. I'm finally in a stable position with my career to be able to expand into other aspects like real estate. So I'm sitting here and I'm trying to learn it myself. And I'll hop on these different little panel Zoom calls to see what they have to say, and they're all trying to sell this program, this mentorship program. Bam, $10,000 will help you get $30,000 here in 2 weeks. Okay, this is free. Y'all, this is free. Okay, free knowledge, free life game. This information, their experience is invaluable to you. okay? Their network, okay? Your network is your net worth, okay? And again, I'm thankful. I can speak on my experience. I'm thankful for, my own mentor who I was able to message her yesterday saying, hey, do you know anyone who works in cloud? Is your job looking for cloud? She's like, oh yeah, we're always looking for cloud. So I was able to help utilize her network to help my own mentee with that. And just do it. Be like Nike, just do it.
I love that. I really do. And when you were talking about that, there are mentorships that people would pay incredible amounts of money. After my experience with NPowerMATCH and the beautiful things that Natasha and Herb you spoke about today, it made me realize something. I think the kind of mentor-mentee relationship, not that there's anything wrong with paying for it, but I would say that those that volunteer their time like you do, that approach it because you have this belief that your success is determined by how successful you can make others. I think that kind of mindset, that care, that love for another person, is the fundamental thing that needs to be in place in order for a powerful mentor-mentee relationship to blossom and for somebody to really feel like they're being heard and to being helped. So once again, I want to thank the two of you so much for volunteering your time, for having such an incredible impact on those within our organization. And Chelsea, I wanted to check in. How are we doing on time? I have a lightning round question I could ask, or we can turn it over to give our attendees an opportunity to ask some questions.
We do have a few questions that I would love to elevate on behalf of our attendees. So we have a question from hopefully a potential mentor who says, have your mentees opened up about challenges they deal with as minorities and or women?
Yeah.
If so, how are you able to respond to this?
Okay, I think I'll take that question. I have had mentees open up to me about the challenges of being a woman or a woman of color in their office. And we've discussed it, right? So the truth of the matter is I've been, like I said, in business for 20 years. I've worked for a few Fortune 500 companies, and the glass ceiling is real. I've experienced it. And I think through sharing my personal experiences with my mentees, they understood that the overall goal is to move forward, right? Me as a Black woman in corporate America, again, I'm not trying to put my age out there, but I was in the financial district in New York City when they were still towers there. I was there. The day of 9/11, I happened to be late and not go down to I used to work for Bank of New York before Mellon was acquired. So you can go ahead and do your research. But at that time, yeah, it was a very predominantly dominated white male area. That's what you saw down there. That's what you saw, leaving in the limousines from the area. And I was taking the train with a bagel. So it's real. I think the value of being a mentor in that space was I was able to tell the truth. That's me. I'm an honest person. And I had to tell my mentees how it felt to apply for something, know I have credentials, and then watch someone else get it and question myself, is this because they were more qualified than me, or is this a color thing? I don't think there's any place there's no amount of just straightforward, there's no amount of pamphlets, there's no amount of PowerPoint decks that you can read that's going to say, okay, step 1, identify your aggression. It doesn't work like that in the real world. You're going to have an experience and you're going to have to deal with it. I've worked at Delta Airlines. I had the unfortunate incident of someone actually assaulting me from a different country, different culture. He spit on me. And guess what? In that moment, I could have lost my job and my mind at the same time. But I had a great lead, a great team lead, Diana McHugh. I'll never forget her. When people do good things for you, you never forget them. She was my boss. She was a white woman, and she took me outside and she made sure that he did not get on that plane. He will never fly Delta Airlines again. And she gave me the biggest hug and treated me like a person. So because of that experience, I knew that, you know what, no matter what one person does is not a reflection of the entire organization. It's not a reflection of the entire person, their background, or anything. That's just that one individual. And that's something that I had to share with a lot of my mentees. I share it openly because it's real life. You know, you cannot allow the ignorance of one to block you or block your future blessings because this person decided to come along and show their ugly self. You have to be the bigger person and the better person. I said, I could have lost my job that day and I probably wouldn't have been mad about it either. But I was a mother, I was a mom, I had 2 kids. I had way more important things to deal with than to let one ignorant person cost me my job. So yes, it is a challenge. It definitely is a challenge. It is far from over. One of the reasons why I started mentoring with NPower was because Citigroup had a specific goal of we want to increase 20 by 20, I think it's 2030. They want to go up 30% of seeing minorities and women up in higher executive C-suite and beyond, you know, positions. And this is one of the ways that they have been channeling one of their efforts through NPower and making sure that we transition people from diverse backgrounds into positions that they deserve to be in because we know that they're qualified. We know that they're coming from NPower. They have their certifications. They've done all of these things. There's no question about it. And your network does increase your net worth completely. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement because I've had at least 2 of my mentors on board to Citi. I see them in Skype, and now everybody's on Teams, and they're doing well. They're successful, and I feel great to be a part of that transition for them, you know, in doing so. So yes, definitely, it's a problem, but we have moved forward. We're making big steps, and I'm about to finish my DEI certification. So we are going to keep pushing diversity and inclusion, not just based on color or gender or anything, for all people, because it's an important topic and we definitely need to continue to address it. Hope that answers.
Thank you so much. And we have a few folks who said, I am a woman of color as well. Thank you for speaking on this, Natasha. So we have several responses like that. Thanking you for speaking your experience.
You're welcome.
So we have another question from an alum who's in the cloud computing program. She would like to know how mentors are assigned, mentees, and how our alumni can sign up. Great question. So there is a matching algorithm. So when your mentor fills out their application and you fill out an application and asks you a variety of questions about your personal interests, like where you'd like to go in your career, even if you are not sure, you can pick different topics that interest you in the tech field, as well as the soft skills that you want to work on, whether it's public speaking, communicating, in different ways like that. So the matching algorithm gives our team 1 or 2 choices, and you know, based on our getting to know our mentees, we make then the ultimate choice that is selected for, you know, that's a selection for you. Alumni are able to connect with their alumni engagement manager, as well as any placement team member for the link to apply. You can also email mentoring@npower.org. And our current trainees also have this experience shared with them while they're in the program. And so they connect with their placement team members, you know, for the actual application process. Once alumni apply, then they go on to an orientation, and then how to use the platform as well. So we connect with you and we work with you all throughout the process. Awesome. Okay, we have another question. It says, how do you respond to crisis situations where a mentee needs immediate services or counseling?
I can take that. If
Thanks,
you,
sir.
well, this is just my lens, right? Everyone's got their own lens. And if you do this long enough, you're gonna run into folks who are in some sort of a crisis. I've handled it a number of ways. Depending on the immediacy, I also understand if I'm part of NPowerMATCH, that I have all of NPower behind me. And that means there are people that are well connected to this mentee. And so if somebody is struggling, maybe they're struggling with the program, but maybe they're struggling with life and stress in general, and you start picking up on that, then you encourage them to get resources through NPower, but we might also encourage NPower to show a little extra support for that person. I've had mentees that are on the West Coast versus East Coast or in Texas. And so, you know, when you start picking up on how somebody is stressing out, one of the things I'll do is I'll try to impart the value of counseling and really let them understand that counseling is for everybody and it's there, and you have to find the way to access that counseling. And so you can help them navigate that. Do you have health insurance? Recently, a mentee struggling a little bit, and it's like just some hard stuff going on, and it's like I don't even sure they had to realize that there's an employee assistance program at a lot of corporations, and those are hugely valuable, and they're a resource that's available to them. And so I'll share some success that we might have had with that, or I may have had with that, and try to encourage them to get that help. But if you do it long enough and with enough different folks, you're going to find some folks who are in crisis, and you got to help them find that right path to immediate help. And so you can only do what you can from so far away, but you do try to support them and check in frequently. Nobody minds getting checked in on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Herb, for highlighting the support that our social support managers, do for our trainees. We have another question. Are the mentors still connected with their mentees after the program ended? So I can take officially that, the relationship officially ends after 5 months. However, most of our matches stay connected. And I'm sure that our folks, our panelists here can, speak to some of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can definitely speak on that. So, I mean, with me, I received my mentor about 1.5 years ago, and I spoke with her yesterday, right? I have a mentee myself who he asked me to be his mentor during the NPower program, and I also spoke to him yesterday. So these are ongoing relationships, these are professional relationships, they are what you put into it, if I would say the biggest thing when it comes to this kind of a relationship is just your time, right? So during the actual like mentorship program, they want you to spend a minimum of 1 hour a month. Typically, with me, it was like 1 hour phone call a week or every other week with my mentor. That's something that you guys can kind of work out yourselves based on your own schedules. But just remember that as both a mentor and a mentee, you are making that commitment like you would with any other relationship to work on building that relationship for the betterment of both of you. Because I'll let you know, like being a mentor, you and I didn't realize it until I became one myself, is that you gain so much from even just being a mentor. You are also learning from your mentee just as much as that mentee is learning from you. And as we all grow and progress, there's always new things to learn. So I don't know if anyone else wanted to kind of share their thoughts on it, but
I agree with you. You definitely get what you give. So if you want to continue that relationship with your mentor, it's just a matter of just keep in touch. I get text messages from my mentees, the ones that may work for me, work with me at City. We talk every now and again. They will pop up maybe in a instant message, hey, how you doing? But like I said earlier, like the expectation is 1 hour. It's not something that's, you know, overbearing or meant to feel like it's because it's not a job, right? Mentoring is not a job. It's something that you want to do. And it's something that's gratifying because it is serious business. You know, it's serious work. It's not just a hangout per se. There's goals and things that need to be accomplished. There are challenges that need to be faced. There's things that need to be addressed. So it is definitely a healthy balance of fun with some firmness, you know, to get what needs done. So I can definitely say that if you want a relationship with your mentor, you want it to continue, just let them know, you know, see what they're open to. Like Herb said earlier, you know, get the formalities out early when you start. You know, I give out my text message. I let my mentees know, listen, this is my text message, this is my business number. The best way to get me is text me like everybody else. If you leave me a voicemail, you will end up in the abyss of doom because I do not check voicemails. I have like 200 voicemails. I'm a horrible person. I will never, don't do it. Don't leave me no voicemail. But if you text me, you send me an email, I will get that. If it is an emergency, they know as long as I'm not in a meeting, I will call you right back because mental health is very important. I've had my own challenges with it. Like you said earlier, mentioning the EAP program, all of those things. I think the biggest struggle we have in this life is people not realizing that we got 5G, we got Google, we got some of the most powerful devices. This is a smartphone. It's going to be as smart as you are in using it. The technology can't do it by itself. You have to make the choice to use it. So everything that NPower is offering, everything that your job offers, everything that your college offers, you have to choose it. Once you choose it, that's when you're going to see what you're going to get from it. And no, everything is not going to always be the right fit. Everything is not always going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. But for the most part, you can move forward from it with either a lesson or a blessing. If you're really good, you get both. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Raven and Natasha. I know we are over time. We do have one more question. I'm happy to stay on to continue to answer this question. It says, do mentors ever mention employee labor laws and workers' rights for situations similar to what Natasha had to go through?
Since it's my situation, I'll take it. In my experience as an HR person, I will tell you this much. I will never give you advice specifically because of HR policies, right? Every company is different. Every organization has their own handbook, their own rule book. There are federal laws. I will advise that if you feel like you've been discriminated against or you have that type of issue, you need to go straight to Google and look it up. Do the research. Look up your EEO, look up your labor laws, and you start from there. But as a professional, as a person, I don't like speaking on things that I don't know, right? And I don't have all of the information in front of me to even give that kind of advice. And then on the other hand, it's a different corporation. I don't work there. So I can't speak to those things, right? I'm not going to speak on something that I don't have all the facts on. What I can do is point you in the right directions to look up and get answers. And if you do feel you have to move forward, then you need to look for legal help in that direction. I hope that answers.
Thank you so much. It is 5 minutes over. I can't believe how much fun we were having. You are all so wonderful. I cannot thank you all enough for participating, our mentees and our mentors. Absolutely wonderful. I'm super pumped to run this program. I'm so excited to offer this to more and more alumni and trainees as we go forward. We cannot do this work without your support. It's critical. And so I just am beyond grateful. And I do want to mention for our alumni who attended this event, we are doing an alumni raffle contest. And so we recorded your names and your emails, and the winners will be sent an email with their e-gift card. If you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and email our team at mentoring@npower.org. And I will be sending a follow-up email to all of our attendees, so you'll have that information, as well as the LinkedIns of our panelists. Thanks
Thank
so
you
much,
very much.
everyone. Take care.